Carl, come on up.
Hello there. Hey man, what do you want to I'm going to get that's it. C. What Spanish key? Spanish key. We'll give you a little extra if you give us a tempo.
I know.
Short. There you go.
Look at me, I'm as helpless as a kitten up a tree. I feel like I'm clinging to a cloud. I can't understand, I get misty just holding your hand. Walk my way, 1,000 violins begin to play. It might be the sound of your hello, that music I get misty the moment you're near. People say that you're leading me on, but that's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. On my own, but I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you. But I wander through this wonderland alone, never knowing my right foot from my left, my hat from my glove. I'm too misty and too much in love. I'm too misty and too much in love.
All the things you could have
Yvonne the afternoon actually before she passed away. And one of the remarkable things that I can remember about her is that we were sitting there and we were Helene and I were trying to think of a song that she says, what's the song that Helene said this to me, what's the song that you and Yvonne used to do all the time? And I couldn't think of it, which is normal for me. I don't know the names of half the songs I play. But we were all, Yvonne was in the bed and she would sleep and then she'd wake up and be alert. And what happened was that we were trying to think of it and all of a sudden I heard she was only she did it nicely. She didn't miss a note. Try a little tenderness, and she hugged it perfectly, and she went back to sleep again for a while. But and we thought, gee, amazing that she could remember this, and she remembered the name of it too, when the rest of us didn't. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It was quite a moment. And so with that, I learned this song from Yvonne many years ago. I'd never heard of it either. And she taught it to me, and over a long period of time, just by repetition. And so this is her song.
You sit up, yeah. Sit up.
No, here, I'll learn that for you.
I'm Jan Kelly, her #1 grandbaby, as she always said. And I spent lots and lots of time with her, lived locally here, and we had many conversations about what she wanted after she passed, and this is exactly it. I know she would be just thrilled to see all of you here, and the music, her wonderful bandmates for so many years, and family, and anyway, just thank you, thank you. This really warms my heart. And today would have been her, or actually, yeah, 101st birthday today. So I'd like Elaine to come up, please, and lead us all in happy birthday.
All right.
Because you don't want me to sing.
Stay and sing. Do it in E flat.
Oh, you fine? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Kind of a rousing edition.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Yvonne. Happy birthday to you. My life playing trumpet started about 1924. My mother, Mary Arena Meyer, was the first woman trumpet player in Seattle. My oldest brother, Wells, played trombone. Middle brother, Gwen, played the flute, and my sister, Jovina, played the clarinet. Growing up, we all attended Adams Grade School in Ballard, Washington. I played first trumpet in the school band. Our family played together in many places in Ballard, and my mom accompanied us on the piano. During the late 20s and early 30s, most every year, Mother and I would perform sunrise services at Washelli Cemetery in North Seattle. We would climb ladders to a height above the fir trees, one of us on each side of the big white cross, and we'd play a special duet. I joined the Seattle Musicians Union Local 76 when I was 15. Usually one was not accepted until at least 16. I was asked by Helen and Joy Hartlerud, I don't know if I'm saying that right, who I considered fine musicians, to join a year early because they needed a female trumpet player to travel and play one-night stands. Later on, my sister Jovina joined us as well. We were booked in small towns all over Oregon and Washington by a booking agent. 1938 until 1941, when Pearl Harbor was bombed, Helen, Jovina, and I played on the Alaskan steamship Baranof. There's actually a picture of it out in the hall there. The ship traveled both the inside passage and directly to Kodiak Island via the Pacific from Seattle. On the inside passage trips, while cargo was on or offloaded, we would go into the local bars and entertain people. When we stopped in Nome, the boat docks were only big enough to accommodate tugboats. The steamship Baranoff would have to anchor out. We would transmit from ship to shore and back via the tugboats. We had to climb onto hay bales and be craned up and off and on the big tugs. That, I can just picture her. On our last trip from Nome, December 7th, 1941, we were playing music aboard the ship at lunchtime when it was announced by the radio man that Pearl Harbor had been bombed. We were instructed to black out the portholes and remained in Women's Bay for a week, hoping for a Navy escort back to Seattle. The Navy was unable to do this because of the needs of the war. The ship returned to Seattle on its own by following the coastline very closely. When we arrived in Seattle, the musicians were removed from the Alaska steamship line, and we were the last to ever play on board. After my time on the steamship, myself and my sister Jobina played at the Showbox with Helen Hartlerud and Jerry Reed. It was downtown Seattle for 4 years. I was also working at Boeing. I worked on electrical wiring on the wing assemblies of the B-17 bomber. We played 3 full shows every night at the Showbox. The place was always packed each night with military members from every service. We played with a lot of great entertainers such as Sophie Tucker, Sally Rand, Harmonica Cats, and many others. One summer while playing with the Harmonica Cats, we went down to Golden Gardens Park in Ballard, and I made fried chicken for them. We played music while sitting in the sand. I'm not sure what year the Army plane crashed on Mount Rainier, but I played taps for the ceremony. I also played taps many times at Washelli's ceremony for Veterans Day. This was always a union job. June 1st, 1942, Ellen Joy and I, along with other musicians I can't remember, played music for the opening ceremony at the Grand Coulee Dam. Several times I was invited as a guest artist to play with the Fort Lawton Army Band. In the 1930s, my father, Joe Meyer, started the North End Community Band, in which we all played. We played many places. We participated in a contest for the best band at the Paramount Theater. We competed against the Army, Navy, and Marine bands, and we took first place. While my husband, Jim Kelly, a lieutenant in the Army Air Corps, was stationed in Great Falls, Montana, he was flying the hump between India and China. When we moved around, I was always accepted in the local musicians union and played with many good musicians. During this time, I wrote a song without a name, so we called it Yvonne's Song. Was that good?
That's behind Yvonne Kelly.
We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. Sorry about that. Many years later, when my granddaughter started working as a wait person at Whiskey Creek Steakhouse in Keyport, she informed me that the restaurant had a live band and the music they played was something that I would love to hear. I started coming down to the restaurant to listen to the music. The band, led by Dawn Alverson, who I know a lot of you here know and miss, heard her stories about the musical past and asked me to bring my trumpet down and play with them. I had not played my trumpet for over 17 years, but Dawn, her husband, said, "Go take it out and practice." Since then, I have been playing at the Creek almost every Wednesday for the last 10 years. It has made my life so much richer. I cannot say how many very fine friends I've met. I will always be grateful to Don Alverson as he accepted my playing with him at Whiskey Creek. He invited me to play Yvonne's song on his Live at the Creek CD. The songs on Live at the Creek bring back such good memories for me. I also worked and retired from Navy Torpedo Station in Keyport after 31 years of service. I played at the Kingston Grange in the 1930s with a group of fellows from Seattle, and again in the 1950s with Pat McCulloch on the drums, Laurel Herbert on the piano, Minnie Zabel on bass, Jabina on sax and clarinet, and me on trumpet. I played at the Ballard Elks for 4 years from 1948 to 52. Then we played at the Bremerton Eagles for about 4 years. My sister and I also played in the Seattle Women's Symphony under the direction of Rachel Welk. That's her story.
The town of Poulsbo, and around beautiful living.
We good?
If you took a ferry boat away from Seattle, enjoying along the way the sun and the water and the clouds, towards Bainbridge Island, and if you kept going to the town of Poulsbo and went around beautiful Liberty Bay, you might come across a house. And in the house, looking out the window at a garden she is no longer able to tend to, you might see a lovely woman. And if you looked closely, there, near to her hands, you would probably see a shining trumpet. It's been near to her hands and her heart for a long, long time. Her name is Yvonne McAllaster, and when she was a child at the age of 3, they gave her a trumpet to see if it would take. It took. Like her mother, who was herself a well-known trumpeter, and her father a band leader, and her siblings too, the music was in her, plain and simple.
I got in the musicians union underage because they needed a woman trumpet player.
When she was 20, she played in a trio aboard the Baranof, a ship that went between Seattle and Nome, Alaska. She played at the Showbox Theater back when all the big names came through. That's her in the back row. Anywhere there was music, Yvonne could be found.
I played in the Seattle Symphony for a while, but I didn't like it. You had a million miles of counting measures to be before you can play one note. And you better make that note right there.
Down through the years, she played professionally and by all accounts beautifully.
I wish I could play now as well as I played for so many years. But my lip embouchure is not nowhere near as good. And I think it's just old age. Now, we're going to do that right now?
Sure, right now. 4 husbands and 5 kids and thousands of gigs later, the horn is still a part of her, as is the ancient golden mouthpiece which has been her trusted companion through melody and life. The eyesight is going, the hearing is going, but if the music ever left her, that would be tragic.
I think it keeps her somewhat a little bit alive.
Even now, she gets nervous. She wants it to be perfect.
I don't know. I'm a 1/16th of a player of what I used to be.
All right.
On Wednesday nights, Yvonne leaves her home and comes here. Casa Mexico restaurant in the town of Keyport.
Okay.
Tonight is special because Yvonne just had a birthday, a big one. She is 100 years old.
Can I present you with a 100-year-old flower?
George is playing piano and Ted's on the bass, and eventually Yvonne pulls out her trumpet from its time-worn case. She handles it delicately as she always has. She puts in her mouthpiece, and once again, the uncertainty.
Are you sure you want to do this? I'm not playing good anymore. Please forgive me.
She is nervous and fidgety because she's an artist and her art matters to her. But all these people have shown up here to hear her play. So Yvonne does the thing that she was born to do.
You want me to go ahead and start? Yeah.
The notes, the phrasings are perfect, the fingerings are as natural as breathing, and one granddaughter is lost in time, and another sways to the sounds, and friends are amazed with reason for mellow reflection, and an old song and an old musician are alive again. Before long, she's calling out songs.
Once in a while, left.
And the other kids do as they're told.
What it does for her is that it keeps her alive. It keeps her vibrant. It keeps her soul moving.
She picked up her trumpet, she's playing amazing, and she's living life again.
I'm so unhappy. I feel so bad. I can lay me down and die.
This is so special, it just doesn't happen. And we're so lucky.
I got the sweet, sweet sugar blues, my sugar. I got the sweet, sweet sugar blues.
She doesn't toot her own horn about tooting her own horn. Nobody likes a blowhard, even when they're blowing hard. The truth is, she breathes life into her horn, even as it breathes life into her. It's always been that way. Back at home, her longtime companion, the one she kisses tenderly, nicked up and scarred by time, like Yvonne herself, waits at the ready. And Yvonne waits too, for next Wednesday, when the two of them will go to Casa Mexico, and the echoes will awaken, and they will make beautiful music again.
That was Como for what they did for her last year on her birthday, for her 100th birthday, and I'm so glad we got that put together. So now that the band will have an opportunity just to relax and enjoy also, we've got some food set up in the back, and I would like to have this just be an open mic time, so if you feel that you would like to share a story, we would sure love to hear. Helene, would you like to get us started off?
Happy to.
Wonderful. So just enjoy the food and drinks and.
Thank you. I just have a couple of quick things to say. One is that Yvonne always made a big deal, and other people would thank me for helping her with transportation to and from Whiskey Creek and then Keyport, and it really was no big deal to me because it was right on the way, which I told her repeatedly. She still had to thank me profusely. And the bottom line was, it was such a treat because those were the times where we could chat. Whiskey Creek wasn't necessarily a good place for personal visits, but the car ride to and from was always really a delight. And she had many observations about what she was looking forward to the evening or what happened at the evening. The best time in many ways was when we were all the way down at McLeod's, and so the car ride was longer, and there I would hear various stories. Some of the ones that would, I'm so glad I got to hear them. She used to ride her motor scooter to work. I didn't know that, and just the idea of Yvonne on a motor scooter going to work just was so perfect. She used to take, her father had made a boat, I may have it partly wrong, but the boat was named after her mom, Mary Irina, thank you, I'm sorry, I knew I would blow the name. Anyway, she used to tootle around in the boat, and she'd go through the locks. I said, you go through the locks? Oh yeah, I go through the locks. So there she was, tootling around, going through the locks, and we had to hear the story about the time she had to hide her motor scooter in a barn because somebody was trying to steal it. You never knew what she was going to come out with. That was always a treat. Especially was always grateful. She was a true professional. You could hear it even when she wasn't playing to her satisfaction. You could hear how really good she was. And yet she welcomed other people to the creek, and she welcomed me to sing with her, and she shared her songs with me. And there are lots of musicians that wouldn't have made room for somebody that hadn't earned didn't have the stature and the skills and the incredible internalization of what it means to be a professional musician. And the fact that she welcomed me and let me share Sugar Blues with her, I think is a real testament to the kind of gracious person she was. So I hope other people have some stories if they want to, but I'm glad to share that with you all. Thanks.
Carrying something out or trying to put something together, I don't know. But she met me and she was like, oh, come on in, you know. And she's been my second mom for all these years. She was 14, I think. And she's just been such a special woman in my life. I really miss her. And I'm so glad that you all came here today. It's such a tribute. I love the stories. I love the band who I've seen so many years and come to Whiskey Creek, and you know, she's just a special person. She and my mom were good friends, and my dad, and you know, it's just to get to know the whole family. I used to babysit the younger group of kids, Denise and DJ, and yeah, Denise and DJ. I babysat for them when Yvonne worked the keyboard, and you know, she called me Little Mama because I was pregnant with Jan at the time, and you know, it was just she's such a special person. I can't pick a remembrance to talk about today other than just, you know, I'm just so glad you're all here, and I hope somebody else will come and share some memories. There's been so many, how do you pick one? But you know, she's just a star in heaven, so thank you.
Not be here, but we recently got married. Just
I don't know why I did that.
hello? Okay. Just 4 years ago we got married, and upon first meeting my grandmother, I brought him over to the house, and it was actually okay, I'm pretty loud. So it was Jan's graduation party from law school, and so I brought my boyfriend at the time to this big party, and we were sitting down on the dock at her house, and there's quite a few of us, maybe 10 of us down there, and she looks over at him and she says, so other than making love to my granddaughter, what do you do with yourself? And very, very much like Grandma, and he said nothing, Grandma, nothing. And so he was very funny, always loved a good man in her life. Even I remember the last time we saw her just this summer, where I was trying to help her out, she goes, no, I need the male species to help me to my car. And she just really appreciated a good gentleman in her life, and I only knew Grandpa Don myself, but he was a good guy, and they had a good many years together. So anyways, she was just a hoot, and we're going to miss her terribly, and can't wait. Hopefully we can keep her legacy going somehow. Thank you.
This is not my cup of tea to be up here, but I just want to say thank you for all the years that Yvonne played the trumpet. I'm her neighbor, and so we had years, thanks everybody, I had years of getting to listen to her just practice. So for us, it was a treasure to open our door to listen to her play without anybody knowing that she was listening. I actually have recordings of looking at trees of her playing, and whoever would come over with a clarinet and play with her, we would just sit in awe of just the talent that you had and the blessing that you gave to our family. She would always ask us about our kids. We moved in there about 18 years ago. would ask us about the kids, how they were doing, and always care so much. I would admire her working in the yard when she could, walking to the mailbox, even when she might not be sure what steps she was taking, but she would always make sure she was trying to get to the mailbox. And we remember the dogs, Zippies, a couple of those Zippies, and then there was Tootie. Tootie was our dog's friend. I would go over and play with her. And the other thing that I just recently learned is that she had a special vegetable drawer. There was a special vegetable drawer of chocolates. Lit chocolates will always be thinking of her because those were her chocolates. So just the years of having her next door and her son taking care of her and helping her be there, we admire that. So just years of, we'll miss her. I mean, I look over there and that will be thinking of her with the trumpet and listening to the music. So I can go back now to my videos and just be thinking, and Jan, thank you for doing this for everyone and just thinking of her. Thank you.
Yvonne, we had gone to hear her play at what was then Whiskey Creek, and Jan introduced her to us, and she was so excited to meet her friendly neighborhood jeweler. Dahlquist Fine Jewelry back in the day, and she had a bazillion questions specifically about cleaning her jewelry. Bless her heart. This is an inquiring mind, and it's no wonder she lived to be 100 plus. And we wish her a very happy birthday for 101, because we know she's out there watching, and I'll bet she's cleaning her diamonds too. What do you bet?
I'm Julia Briggs. I'm Yvonne's granddaughter. I have to hold it?
Or just get close.
It's short even for me, what's up with that? I'm Julia Briggs. I am Yvonne's granddaughter, and I wanted to say just a note about that clarinet player that was mentioned. He was more recent in my grandmother's life. He was a symphony player. It's Bill Rappaport, and he would come and play through COVID, sit outside with my grandma, and I just feel like of everyone in her life, he really helped her keep the playing alive. And I'm just very grateful for that. I know his health prohibited him from being here, so I wanted to say that. And just on a personal level, the thing that, I think that I learned the most from my grandma is that you don't have to understand why, you don't have to understand everyone to be able to love them. I don't know how many times we spoke of, the trials and tribulations of life, and she's just like, Julie, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But, she always ended that in love. And I just think that's a really important thing for me to remember. Thanks.
Thank you.
I was just hoping that friends and family would join together and help write a book about her life and times. I think it would be very publishable. In fact, I'm certain of it. And I don't know how you would go about it, but I'm sure there's lots of smart people in here who can figure it out. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for being here. I really don't know what to say other than I love and miss my mom. I'm certainly no public speaker, but again, thank you to all of you so much. Thank you.
I see.
All the dreams, why did they call me? Can't you see I'm a good without you? Take my arms, I want to lose. Take these legs, I'll never dream them. Happiness dies, you cry. Tell me how can I go on without you? You took a part that once was my heart. Baby, take off of me.
Life's only worth living if you are Mercury. Now let me give some to you. When the skies are gray and you say you want blue, I'll send the sun to shine through. I wanna be happy, but I can't be happy till I make you happy too.
see your kiss is true. I can't believe what they can do. I can't believe that you're in love with me. You're telling everyone I know. I'm on your mind these days, I can't believe that you're in love with me. I have always just because of me. I just couldn't make it. country road. Was back recalling all those I had known. Bring me all of the rough smile that she wasn't you here today? Each time I think about the old country song, the ones that teachers found in the right and the wrong. Forget all those words, and blessed when times were tough and I thought I would fall, was like being behind the 8 ball. But with the help of my family and friends, I walked all the friends through it all. Now it seems my hair is turning pretty gray. I find your hugs more than I needed today. But living all of my life, I have my friends through it all. When times were tough and I thought I might fall, it was like being behind the 8 ball. But with the help of my family and friends, I crawled, walked, and ran through it all. Now my life is turning pretty gray. Seems your ones are all that are needed today. But when I call all the days of my life, I have been blessed through it all. Yvonne really did want to leave that song behind. It's one of the few requests she was specific about, so I'd really like to keep that song going. She felt pretty positive about it. The song was hers. She wrote it, I think, in 1952. It was quite a long time ago. And then Denny, her nephew, added lyrics more recently. And I said I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say, the first time I heard the song, I thought it was too, I didn't like thinking of Yvonne's life being that tough because I only knew the positive side of her. And then I learned more and more about Yvonne and all that she had been through. And I'll even say the song in the end, with the help of my family and friends, well, I'm just here to say Yvonne did it on her own most of the time. It wasn't that she had this huge network. She was a woman on her own. She was doing all the work of keeping a family together, of raising her babies. The stories of her DJ, I remember in particular being in the car on her way to the hospital because she thought he was dying. Nobody knew who else could be around to help her. The car broke down. Some guy stopped on the side of the road and took her to the hospital. She had so many stories where she was just rescued by strangers who I think maybe perceived what a special person she was, but it was her grit that kept her going. And up to the very end, where she showed just so much courage going in on a Wednesday night to play because she wasn't playing the way she wanted to, but she knew she needed to keep doing it. So I don't mean to be bringing a downer, but I feel like I want to recognize the spirit of this woman who was so very strong.
And I also want to add in that she told me that when she was in the band, I think it was, anyway, she lied her way into the musicians union to get in early. She was always the youngest one there. I'm sure she was probably often the only female. And she was called Baby Meyer because that was her maiden name, and she was just a little thing, so she was Baby Meyer, which was not a nickname I'd ever heard before, but it is in my heart now. So anyway, thank you. Bye.
Can I sing Seems Like Old Times?
Yes, you can.
Seems Like Old Times. This is a song, it's so great, I feel like there's just a few of us left here. This is a song that I have never known before. It's an old standard, but I learned it from Yvonne, and so it's special to me. For that reason, I think it's a really neat song. In C. Seems like old times, having you to walk with, just like old times, having you to talk with, still thrill, just to have my arms around you, still the thrill that it was the day I found you. Like old times, dinner dates and flowers, just like old times, staying up for hours between clouds, doing things we used to do, seems like old times.
Oh, we got it.